Hello, Degens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I, of course, am the brofect one, AJ. Joining me is our PR manager, Matthias. Matthias, welcome back to the show. And, of course, is the man with the numbers, sportsbook whisperer, college basketball guru, daddy of the diamond, all hail the king of the links, the money train, Mr. Noah Engelbretson. Noah, PR Matt, how are we doing today, boys?
Fantastic.
Oh, I'm doing great, man. NFL season is underway. I'll be at the University of Minnesota football game tomorrow. Probably going to be a bloodbath against Western Illinois, I believe
Ooh,
they're playing.
rowing the
But
boat. There you go.
but yeah, hey, fucking row the boat, Sky Yuma, baby.
Sky you, ma, but hey,
Skayuma.
we can talk about college football all day tomorrow. That's what's beautiful about Saturdays.
True.
Boys, we had the first NFL game, Bills versus the Rams, that ended in an absolute bloodbath after a very tight first half. And I want to overreact to it because my first overreaction is that the Rams are dead. The Rams are dead, dead, dead. The Super Bowl was a fluke. They got there by accident. Everything doesn't matter anymore. Matt Stafford looked exactly like he did with the Lions yet again. Yeah,
Oh, whoa,
Rams are
whoa.
dead,
I mean,
boys.
he looked good with the Lions. He just never had any team around him.
True.
You're right, and now he's got a team around him. And he still looks like shit.
I agree, though. Yeah, the Rams are dead. They wasted all their salary cap to get that one Super Bowl. And that's all they wanted, really. They wanted to do the two-peat, but yeah, they didn't play their cap right, I don't think. And they're not dead, but they're just not going to have the season they had last year.
Yep.
I think the Rams are still going to be a really good team. They're still going to win the division out there in the NFC West. This is just the classic Super Bowl hangover. You see it with so many teams. Their first 4 games or so, they come out flat, which is why I was betting heavy on the Bills. Although my biggest concern about the Rams is not Matthew Stafford, it's not Allen Robinson, it's not even Cam Akers. Jalen Ramsey, what the fuck? And
Dude.
a he gave up a perfect passer rating while targeted. And I don't mean perfect as in perfect on his end. I mean perfect on Josh Allen's end. Stephon
Yeah.
Diggs absolutely torching Jalen Ramsey on multiple routes. This is the guy that, and I've never called him the best cornerback in the league. I've called him, top 5 or even top 3. I've never called him number 1. He's supposed to be the number 1 cornerback in the league, and he's given up a perfect passer rating. I mean, I get Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs are really good, but yeah, he got torched. He got torched all game.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey didn't look of the caliber. No one, honestly, on the Rams, though, looked of the caliber that they were. I mean, Cooper Kupp making a couple good catches with a couple good runs, but when your defensive line can rush with 4 all game long and the front
And get
5 can't
7
figure it
sacks.
out, 7 sacks. And I mean, let's be real. What's his name? Von Miller probably had 8 of those. Von
Yeah, he
Miller
had
looked
2. He had
unbelievable
2, but
yesterday.
yeah, he looked he looked like a young Von Miller. Like he was beating those linemen off the ball. And I think I saw a stat that Buffalo didn't blitz a single time and still registered 7 sacks. If you're a Rams fan, you've
Wow.
probably got to have some questions coming up about that offensive line.
A lot.
Yeah, and I mean, you lose a main piece in Wentworth there. Obviously, Matthew Stafford missing him yesterday, just getting absolutely pummeled. I haven't seen him hit the ground that many. He looks like Russell Wilson, honestly, for a second, hitting the ground that many times in one game. But okay, let's take a moment and not bag on the Rams, all right? Because I want to go to another possibility. Okay, maybe not. Maybe the Rams aren't dead. Maybe that is a complete overreaction. As my
Definitely not dead yet.
okay, but let's talk about this as I fix my camera because it doesn't like to work for me. What if the Bills are just one of the best teams we've seen in the NFL since the Chiefs made that miraculous run with Patrick Mahomes' first
That's
year?
what I was going to say. You got to look at
I mean the Bills
it's
are
the Bills.
Super Bowl favorites for a reason. Josh Allen, the MVP favorite, probably for a reason. Um, like this Bills team is going to be very good on both sides of the ball. However, they were a little sloppy with the ball. I mean, turned it over 4 times. And
Yeah.
as much as I'd love to sit here and say, okay, the Bills looked really great because they did when they weren't turning the ball over, but they can't turn the ball over 3, 4 times every week and and win games. They're going to have some losses when they play some good teams. They just dominated the Rams so much in every other facet of the game that those turnovers didn't really matter. So,
No.
as much as I'd love to sit here and toot the Bills' horn, I do think, yes, they look 90% of the part of a Super Bowl favorite team. Those turnovers scare me a little bit. Couple loose throws resulting in interceptions for Josh Allen, and then I think a fumble as well. It's something to note. I don't think it's a leading story by any means, but something to note. If those turnovers keep up, they're going to lose some games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but there was no part during those turnovers, during the interceptions, during anything like that. Even going into halftime with the Rams tying it up 10-10, there was not one point that I was like, oh, the Rams are going to come back. The Rams are going to be able to put something together, string something together, make a drive, tire out the defense. They looked like maybe they were going to make a push in the beginning of the third quarter, but then that just all went to waste. It all went to waste, and I think
couldn't get it yet.
No, they couldn't figure shit out. They honestly didn't know their asshole from their mouth at some point. Like, it was unbelievable. And I think a lot of that, let's talk about the coaching though real quick. Sean McVay, I mean, he just looked so out of it. Like, he just looked like he hadn't been sleeping. He looked like he had no idea what he was doing, and his play calling reflected that.
I don't know that it's necessarily that. Again, I think the offensive line was a huge issue, and the fact that the Bills didn't even need to blitz to get 7 sacks, and then, they're dropping 7 back into coverage every time. So Stafford, that coverage is tight. Cooper Kupp still looks amazing, always capable of getting open.
Always.
Stafford's elbow didn't seem to be much of an issue to me. I think the issue was the offensive line not being able to pass protect for their lives.
No. Yeah, they couldn't pass protect for the life of them. They couldn't move to get the run started or anything like that. Some of the play action worked when they started having Stafford roll out. That was just creating time for him, and that's what he needed. But even when he was rolling out, he didn't have any time because someone was right on his ass. The Rams, that offensive line scares the shit out of me. It really does. But honestly, now, and this is looking at it from a gambling perspective, the one line that I was interested in was pass attempts by each quarterback. Line hanging out around 34, 35 and a half. Matthew Stafford, though, with 41 attempts. I mean, if
they were playing from behind.
No,
for
exactly.
almost
and
the whole
I'm
game.
Thinking, well, if they can't score in the first half, like they did in this game, they can't score in the first quarter, and they go up against a half-decent offense that can pick apart that defense the way Josh Allen was. I mean, I'm not saying a Kyler Murray could do it, but I'm saying a Justin Herbert, a Tom Brady, those upper-level quarterbacks would definitely be able to get the job done.
So they're going to flow it that way.
And then you just slam Matt Stafford over on passing attempts with the guarantee that they're going to be playing under at least for the next 4 weeks until the Super Bowl hangover, wears off.
Yeah, who do the Rams have coming up the next couple weeks?
It's a great question. Let me pull that up really quick.
I feel like it's division heavy this year.
You got the Falcons next week, Cardinals the week after, and then the 49ers to wrap up week 4.
So they'll bounce back in big fashion, probably blow out the Falcons by a couple touchdowns. That game being at SoFi, but on the road against the Cardinals and then the Niners, I bet they split. I bet they split those games, and even with the possibility that they maybe lose both of those games, I still am not going to fully commit on how optimistic or pessimistic I am about the Cardinals until I see them play.
Yeah.
But how the Cardinals do against the Chiefs on Sunday, I think will be a big deciding factor in how I'm playing the board, the next couple of weeks.
True, that's going to be, I'm watching that one for the same reasons too.
Yeah.
A lot to tell in that game.
It's going to be a hell of a matchup. And with 2 division rivals back-to-back, I mean, the 49ers, I think, is a lock for a win, but the Cardinals is just kind of up in the air question mark.
Both on the road, though, those are hard teams going to
But the 49ers always beat the Rams. except for in the NFC Championship game. But other than that,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
now
they
you
won
got a quarterback who played 5 games in the college.
Yeah, but he's going to get a nice little warm-up game against the Bears, so as we've
Yeah,
discussed.
fuck off, Noah. Fuck off. Yeah, I know. Against the Bears.
The Bears.
Man. I mean, with that being said, boys, do you guys got anything else to overreact to the first game of the NFL season? Noah, going to you first.
Yeah, I mean, this game probably raised more questions for me than it did answer questions about both teams.
Yeah.
So I've got some question marks on both teams now because I don't know if that was just, for all we know, this could have just been a fluke game. You know, they played 10 times. I don't think either team wins by 3 touchdowns. Like,
No.
even more than 10. You could have these two teams play, 25, 50 times, and I bet maybe one of those games would be a 3 touchdown game, and this might have just happened to be that. Or maybe the Rams are struggling and the Bills are just that good. I don't know. We'll find out.
We will find out. Matt, anything else to add?
My biggest overreaction, because why not? If we're at it, is the Bills will win the Super Bowl. Yep. I mean, that's what we're doing is overreaction. So why not?
Bill's going to win the Super Bowl. Matt, we will see how that goes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more overreactions and everything else in the sports world. And check out our description for our link tree. That has all of our social media and, of course, our Degenerate shop. If you want a dope polo like the one our PR manager is wearing, go ahead, check it out in the link tree down below. With that being said, we will obviously be back on Sunday and Monday with more overreactions to everything NFL and college. With that being said, I've been the Brofic One AJ. That's been my PR manager, Matthias, and the money train, Noah. And we'll see you next time on Degenerate Takes.